think we're good. And let's go live. So we are live right now. We are talking about the latest things that just have recently come out. And a lot of stuff came out today. I mean, January, we usually think of January as a slow month when it comes to movies. But let me tell you, after the Megan premiere yesterday screening that I went to, I can safely say January's turning around. So if you're just joining us right now, make sure you check out our Indiegogo that we're still trying to fund our movie. And let's get right into it. It's in the chat and it'll be in the description. It's pinned on the chat. But let's talk about some of the stuff that we just recently found out today. And that is that we are getting a Beau is Afraid trailer next week. This has been a movie that we've been anticipating, waiting for Ari Aster to come back and do what he does best. It's been like, I feel 4 years now since Midsommar, which was a very good follow-up to Hereditary. Hereditary is still my favorite Ari Aster film. But I am very excited for Beau is Afraid. Originally titled Disappointment Boulevard, which I think is the superior title. Whatever the reason is that they wanted to change it, I don't know. But I very much so thought that Disappointment Boulevard worked a little bit better in my opinion. But here we are. So what is Beau is Afraid about? So there is a short called Beau is Afraid from Ari Aster, and I'm going to talk about that in another video that I'm going to be doing just about the movie itself, what it's about and what we can expect from doing some digging and stuff. But right now we do have this little premise I want to talk about on this live. This live is basically me just running down the news and everything that has been released, and it's something I'm going to be doing every day now for movie news and all of that. And then I'll do some like full-on videos for some of these things as well. So Beau is Afraid is a surrealist comedy horror film written and directed, produced by Ari Aster, which stars Joaquin Phoenix, Nathan Lane, Paf Lupon, Amy Ryan, Kylie Rogers, Park Posey, Stephen McKinley Henderson, Haley Squires, Michael Gandolfini, Zoe Lister-Jones, and Richard Kind, and produced by A24, of course. And so we have this movie that is interesting to me. This first poster, as you can see, very much so shows us a lot of very different, like Joaquin Phoenixes at different stages in life. And apparently that's what this movie is going to focus on, is the different parts of our lives as they all correlate to one event and like life pretty much. So we got this poster today, and we are getting a trailer next week, in next Tuesday, which we're going to break down and cover here on the channel, so make sure you're subscribed and following us for that. But here is the basic premise that it says. Beau is Afraid is described as a decade-spanning surrealist horror film set in an alternate present. Phoenix plays an extremely anxious but pleasant-looking man who had a fraught relationship with his overbearing mother and never knew his father. When his mother dies, he makes a journey home that involves some wild supernatural threats. So, very much so, another family trauma, just like how we've seen Ari Aster always do in his movies. And I'm excited keeping this theme and everything going. So they do have a TikTok page up for Beau is Afraid, and on there they talk about payment. First was the first one to come through in Hereditary, then we had Harga in Midsommar, and now we have Beau. So I'm pretty sure all of these movies have some sort of meaning altogether for Ari Aster, whatever that is. And we're going to start our Ari Aster series as well next week, just with the Evil Dead one and the Scream one. As we get into these movies that are sort of like following up other movies, we're going to be doing that more often, is doing these sort of like series for these movies, going over the past movies and talking more about what exactly it could all mean at the end. So, Beau is Afraid, first poster, like full-on poster. We had another poster that just had the younger boy, but now we have one that has all of the, I guess, Joaquin Phoenixes. So, very excited for the trailer next week. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on Beau is Afraid. Will you be watching it or not? And let's move on to the next trailer poster we got today, and that's Renfield, which is the Nicholas Hoult and Nicolas Cage vampire movie, where we're gonna have Nicolas Cage playing Dracula as you see him in all of his glory right there. And I said on Twitter, I'm okay with having Nicolas Cage be in a comedy at least once every year, as we saw him in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent last week, which last year, which was last week, if that makes any sense. But we pretty much had him in that movie, which is a very underrated movie, honestly, and not a lot of people talked about it, in my opinion. But I really did enjoy seeing him in that, and I'm excited to see him in this movie where we basically have Nicholas Hoult being the assistant to Dracula, and he's very much so ready to leave this overbearing relationship and start something new, but he's kind of afraid of his boss because it's Dracula. And so we see this sort of like him going to this like group for support and all of that. And at the same time, we also have Dracula who doesn't want to let go of Nicholas Hoult as an assistant and keeps him wanting to be like his assistant. It gave me What We Do in the Shadows vibe, which is a very underrated show on FX. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. One of the funniest shows out there, in my opinion. And I'm excited to see what they're going to do with this movie. I think Nicolas Cage has really found his footing again, and I'm excited to see him getting back into these major roles for major movies. So we'll see what happens with this one. Nicholas Hoult, I think, is hilarious when he is given the chance, just as we saw in The Menu and as well in Warm Bodies. So I'm excited to see him coming back into these type of movies as well. So we'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions on Renfield. If you've watched the trailer or not, are you going to be watching this movie, or do you think you'll pass on it? Like I said, I want to check it out. It looks funny. It looks like a good time. And Nicolas Cage's performance looks over the top, which is all I want Nicolas Cage to do when it comes to performance, is go all the way over the top. And it looks like he's just doing that in this movie. So I definitely am ready to check out what exactly Renfield's going to be. So moving on, we did get a trailer for Poker Face, which is Rian Johnson's new film. Well, not new film, but new series he's going to be having on Peacock at the end of this month, which is basically a mystery case by week like type show. So every week, I believe there will be a new mystery to unfold. And so it has a stacked cast, honestly. So we do have a lot here, as we see that we have Rian Johnson, of course, writing, directing. But then we also have a very, very huge cast as well. We even have Mr. Joseph Gordon-Levitt returning, and of course Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in every Rian Johnson production, which is insane if you think about it. So we have Adrian Brody, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Cherry Jones, Tim Meadows, Nick Nolte, Rhea Perlman, Ron Perlman, Jamila Jamil, Judith Light, Chloe Savini, Hong Chau, Lil Ray Howery, Stephanie Hsu, Tim Blake Nelson, Charles Melton, Colton Ryan, Luis Guzman, Ella Barkin, and that's just a few. There's a ton more in here, and of course, starring in this is going to be Natasha Lyons, who I think is a great actress. So I'm definitely excited to see how this Poker Face show is going to be. I think Rian Johnson is great at these mysteries, and if he's doing this show where it's one mystery every week, I'm excited to see how this is going to be. But overall, Poker Face looks pretty good. I only have the picture of Stephanie Hsu up here, but it does have a very stacked cast, and I'm excited to see all of them in this. So let's move on to one of the movies that I was very interested in knowing more about, because it just sounded crazy when I first heard they announced this, and that is Gran Turismo, which we do have our first look and our first trailer for. And let me tell you, I did not expect a Gran Turismo film to ever be made, because I was not sure what exactly they would do with a movie like this. But apparently they do have something. So I have the first picture from the trailer up here with David Harbour in this. So Stranger Things makes their way to the racetrack. Neil Blomkamp, who has done other films such as District 9, Chappie, is back here directing. And I think with his look and his style, this could be an interesting film. I will say that the first trailer, it looks great. It looks very, very promising, but I don't understand what the story will be just yet. Gran Turismo is a very popular racing game on PlayStation. That's pretty much it. There is really no story to it when it comes to it. It's just basically a racing game. So I'm very curious what they're doing with the story and how it will translate into a major motion picture. But I mean, if they're doing it, right? So we'll see what happens with that. Michael Giacchino, the director and composer, is apparently going to do a Them remake. So Michael Giacchino pretty much became somebody I want to see what comes next this year. They did an amazing job with the score in the Batman in 2022, as well as with their directorial debut of the Werewolf by Night special for Disney and Marvel, which I think is still one of the most underrated medias of the last year. And I definitely do hope more people catch it if you haven't caught it. It is definitely a much more different feel to what Marvel had been doing, and a very good lens at this monster horror trope vibes that we haven't gotten in a while. And I'm excited for them to be doing them, because it is a story that kind of basically in a movie that feels like Werewolf by Night. So I think that they kind of have that eye and good way to capture these movies and moments. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, like I said, we have the Beau is Afraid trailer next week, which I am excited for. We have this poster already with Joaquin Phoenix, and this is one of my most anticipated movies. Comes out in April, and like honestly, 2023 might just be a bigger year than 2022 because we just started off the year off right with Megan. I already talked about it in my out of theater experience video I did, so go check that out. I think that 2023 is looking great. We have also Playing next week, which just looks insane. We have Missing coming out after that. Then we have Knock at the Cabin. It just looks like a great year, honestly. And Beau is Afraid will be coming out in April, which is a lot sooner than I expected it to, but it looks really good. It looks promising. A24 and Ari Aster have not disappointed me yet. Hereditary is still one of my top horror movies of all time. I definitely want to catch up again on it. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I do want to catch up on it. We're going to do the Ari Aster series, going over Hereditary and Midsommar again and talking about them. I've talked about them already on the channel previously, but I do want to go into it with, you grow up and you watch these movies again and you pick up on things you didn't the first time you did, and I want to have more of a discussion on all of them, so stay tuned for all of that. We're going to be doing that pretty soon with Ari Aster. Beau is Afraid, I'm pretty sure, is going to be another one of those great horrors that very much so go into the family aspect of everything, so I'm excited for that. He does this family trauma really good, and we'll see what he does with Beau is Afraid. Renfield is another movie I'm excited for, like we talked about already. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on it. Nicolas Cage as Dracula. What more do I have to say for you to go see this movie? Because that man is just going to go insane in this movie. So I'm excited to see that. Nicholas Hoult as well in it. Somebody who I think is very funny and in a very nonchalant way, that he doesn't really do these overbearing funny antics. It just comes off funny the way he has his delivery. So I'm excited to see both of them and their energies, very different energies going into this. Let me know what you think about Poker Face, which is Rian Johnson doing the murder mystery on a weekly basis now on Peacock, if you're going to be watching that show, because I am. Let me know what you think about Michael Giacchino doing the Them remake. I think that's an interesting one. Like I said, Michael Giacchino, I become a believer in him from his composing to his directing, and I'm excited to see what he does. And let me know, Gran Turismo movie, are we seeing it or are we not? I think it's going to look good, but I just don't know about the story just yet. I'm just up in the air about it. But let me know what your thoughts and your opinions on all of that. We do have our Megan videos coming out today, as well as some servant theories and some more breakdowns on Beau is Afraid, as well as Renfield, on what we can expect from this movie. So anyways, as always, that is going to do it for me. If you've been watching, listening, this video will be up as a video later on. So if you missed out on some of the parts of that we were talking about earlier, like Beau is Afraid, make sure you're subscribed and turn that notification bell on. We have a ton more videos coming out, as well as our Megan videos. We have a review, a spoiler, a review, and some discussions about Megan as well coming out later today, so tune into those. So make sure you're subscribed and notification bell on. But like I said, Beau is Afraid, I'm there. First day, as soon as it comes out. Ari Aster, I think, will deliver once again, and Joaquin Phoenix in the mix. Come on, what more can you ask for? Renfield, I think, looks hilarious. Poker Face, also with Rian Johnson, looks like a good time. Gran Turismo looks good, but we'll see what the story is. And Michael Giacchino, I'm a believer. So anyways, make sure you follow me. Make sure you subscribe, notification bell on. We're going to do another live tonight as well, so stay tuned for that, where we'll discuss some of the more of these things in depth. I just wanted to make this quick video to get the news out. This is how we're going to do the news, and then at night we'll have a longer chat and live stream. So I'll put that in the community, so make sure you follow me and notification bell on. As always, stay safe, stay positive.